Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video we are going back to the Black Acres of the Gambia, unfortunately, because I wanted to give my opinion on the behaviour of both Ricky and Cynthia in the last week. I find it unfortunate that I have to make a video like this about people who are in their late 50s, early 60s. It's incredible actually that I'm having to speak about behaviour which, now that I see it, I can understand why their children have turned out the way that they have. You can't just look at the Black Acres of the Gambia either. You need to look at the people who are supporting them too. There is no way you can look at people who act this way and then think, oh, okay, then these people are a testament to our ethnicity as African Americans or whatever. There's no way you can do it. Okay, so I now have to start questioning the people who are supporting these people. Okay, so we're going to go into this now, right? But first I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting us on our new Patreon account. Link in the description. Last weekend I saw two videos and I said to myself, wow, these people can't seriously be doing this. I'm getting so sick of making videos about Cynthia and Ricky. I just said to myself, no, there's no way I'm going to talk about them. No way. This is what I said to myself on Saturday. Then on Sunday they bring out another video, and the video was worse than the first video that they brought out on the Saturday. I said to myself, I did not want to continue putting these two people on my platform and constantly voicing my frustration at the way they treat their workers. It's getting to the point in which it was tedious. But after reconsideration myself, I said, you know what, let's just make one video about everything, because it all needs to be addressed right now. And I'm hoping that this video will change people's behavior. That would be a plus. If I could do that with just one person, I'd be very happy. So I'm now going to show you a few clips. The first one is from the first video that I saw back on Saturday, and man, I just can't believe some of the things that Rick is accusing Solomon of. Solomon is the former contractor that was contracted to finish the project out at the Black Acres of the Gambia. He was dismissed 2 weeks ago by Ricky and Cynthia. There was a bit of a spat between them both. They were both unhappy at the end of the day. Ricky and Cynthia had asked Solomon to reduce the price of the overall building project by $14,500, roughly the same amount of money that was taken from them from their GoFundMe account by their creditors. Ricky and Cynthia also asked Solomon to change some of the dimensions on some of the walls inside the house, which is not impossible, but practically very, very difficult to implement after the foundations have already been laid. Solomon disagreed and said no, he cannot go down by $14,500. After Rick's and Cynthia's proposal was rejected by Solomon, he was dismissed. Now in the video that I'm about to show you, you will see Ricky having a chat with a pretty well-known agriculturalist by the name of Mr. Kente. This guy knows everything that needs to be known about agriculture, so he's there viewing the land and giving Ricky some information about how he can grow crops and which crops he can grow. Okay, this is a video for another day because Rick has done something really, really silly. We'll say that. Okay, so that's a video for another day. But he's sitting down with Mr. Kinte and he's having a discussion. So take a look at this.
2 or 3 contractors, when they come in, say one thing, do something different. And when they do something different, you know what I do. I don't have anything else to say to them except for, you can leave now. So the guy we got in there right now, he's a Nigerian. He came from working with this guy. He stayed. Excellent work. I have no complaints about him whatsoever. He's above and beyond. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because the contractor back there, when we gave him the contract, you know, for some reason or another, he didn't want to use any Gambians. He felt it was inferior work. So he had all Nigerians working for him. So we're like, where the Gambians? We're in Gambia now. You understand what I'm saying? And so, you know, he had a lot of derogatory things to say about Gambians, which we didn't necessarily agree with. We were like, we're in Gambia. Most of our workers are from Gambia because we're in Gambia. But he spoke that, well, I'm going to bring in some workers from Nigeria to help with this contract. You see what I'm saying? And so when, you know, we record everything, Mr. Cynthia. You know, we record everything. And so people are like, where the Gambians at? Where the Gambians?
Poor Mr. Kente. I mean, just look at his face. You can tell he just wants to leave, can't you? It's really weird. You have this world-class agriculturalist sitting on your farm, but you're using him as cannon fodder, sticking a camera in his face and talking rubbish about your former employees. What does that say about Ricks?
So anyway, you know, to make a long story short, we've parted company, and right now he runs around and says we've used him. We paid him for 10. He gave us 8. And we used him. If we paid you for 10 and you gave us 8, you should refund us too. Not in his book. His book says we used him to build that. So anyway, we had to part company, and now we're going on different people to come in and do different portions of the house with a consultant, like you said. Now, there's one person in particular that we're looking at. He's from the UK.
Ricky is calling out Solomon. He's calling him a xenophobe for all intents and purposes. Rick said that Solomon had said a lot of derogatory things about Gambians, okay? Which, coming from Rick, is really, really rich from a person like Rick, who has said lots of derogatory things about Gambians and about continental Africans as a whole, which is really strange because I'm not sure how many countries Ricks and Cynthia have gone to on the African continent, but he seems to know everything about the whole of the continent now. To talk about somebody in that sort of a way without bringing any types of receipts to show the people who are going to be watching this video. The thing is that Ricks doesn't need to bring receipts because this video wasn't made for the public. It wasn't made for your eyes. It wasn't made for my eyes either. It was made for the eyes of his supporters. So this is why at the beginning of this video I was questioning the supporters too. Okay? His supporters must have his mindset. They must have his mindset. Take a look at the 48,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel. Read the comments as well. If you read his comments too, you will see many words, most people giving words of support and encouragement for this type of behavior. What are we communicating to them? What types of people are we communicating that we are as diasporans, as returning diasporans? So let's listen on and see what else he has to say. Now, you also heard Ricky discussing with Mr. Kente about a new contractor that he is going to bring in. I can now confirm that he is going to bring in this contractor from the United Kingdom. It will be interesting to see who he brings in. Now, the problem Ricks is going to have is that he is putting all of this business, all of these contractors that is firing, his disorganization, he's putting it all on YouTube for everybody to see. He's also putting on YouTube the way he speaks about former contractors. So everybody who he's bringing in right now are coming in with the knowledge, knowing that Ricks is not a person to be trusted. So this is only going to get worse now, because Ricky is only going to get people who are not going to be of the highest caliber. I don't think Rick actually cares about getting in the highest caliber type of people, because if you look at the workmanship that you have going, because he does not want to pay so much money, and you know, the better the worker, the higher the costs, and that's as simple as that. So I'm not sure if he wants to bring in the higher caliber people. However, right, he's not going to have much of a choice, because those people who are of higher quality, those ones who would question Ricky, the ones that wouldn't just want to take Ricky's money, but would ask themselves whether Ricky is a viable contract, whether Ricky will keep to his contract agreement. Those people aren't going to work with Ricky. Those people won't work with Ricky any longer. So the only people who Ricky is going to get now are those workers who are perhaps desperate for work. You'd only be desperate for work if you weren't getting the work thrown at you, and you're not going to get the work thrown at you if you're a poor contractor, if you are a poor worker, or if your buildings aren't up to scratch. Now, the second video I thought was even worse. I actually questioned, this is the reason why, I literally questioned the types of people who are supporting the Black Acres of the Gambia, because he's making these videos in this way on purpose. Okay? He's making these videos belittling African continentals for one specific reason, because he knows that his fan base, that his supporters like it. He knows that his supporters like it, and this is the reason he's doing it. So I'm going to show you now parts of the second video. Take a look at this.
I said, first person that's come out here to complete this, go within. We ain't got time to be
Yeah.
wasting time doing street work.
Too many street work.
By the way, guys, this is all happening right in front of Solomon, who is right here in the black Adidas t-shirt.
What's up, girl? We deal with over here in the Gambia, guys. If it ain't the Gambians, some of the Gambians we're working with is the other ones who always talking about other people. So this is what we're doing. But we will get that house built one way or another. If we have to get out there and build it ourselves, guys, we will get that house built. And it will be done this year, you know, with some of the things. But when you mess up, own up to what you mess up, and then we can work from there. But people just don't own up to what they do. If they, you know, it's okay if you mess up a little bit, but a lot, come on now. And then don't wanna fix it. So that's what it is.
What's up, sweet mama?
I'm just talking to the cameras, telling them, you know, when people mess up, you know, own up to your mess up, and we work it. But you know, nobody wants to fix it. Wants to.
We got a replacement coming in already.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that we have to do this once again, but it's okay.
It is what it is. Street workers.
Yeah, they tried to warn us, the other people, but we was like, no, let's work, give them a shot. We even started from the bottom, went all the way to the top, and still it's the same.
Maybe we might need to
Do it ourselves.
with the Lebanese or the, well, hey, wait a minute. The person that we're bringing in to finish up this job, guys, is like us, from the diaspora. See what I'm saying? We're from America. This person that's coming in to finish this, hopefully, is from the UK, and maybe we see things eye to eye because we're international and not from the African continent directly.
Unfortunately, what Rick doesn't understand is that he is the constant variable in this equation. So what you're going to get is the exact same outcome. You're going to get a breakdown in communication and the inevitable breakdown in the relationship between Rick and the contractor, and Rick will show them to the gate. By the way, did any of you spot this? Wow, that is the worst workmanship that I have ever seen. I can't even believe that nothing was said about this, and I can't believe that Rick's thought that this place was habitable. Clearly it isn't. This place is a death trap.
Right.
So we're gonna see how that turns out, because definitely working with the bro on the continent right now.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it ain't working and stuff. It ain't working for us. So, you know, not only have we lost money, lost time.
Yeah, too much time.
And the time, that's replaceable. But the money, you can replace the money.
Oh yeah.
But you can't replace the time that's wasted.
And it's starting to be a headache.
Exactly right.
Too much a headache. I mean, I could see if it was at our fault.
Yep.
You know.
That's it, though. The only way out of here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Too much of a street work. Everybody a street worker but them. When they're messing up.
Huh?
He went to get the wheelbarrow. No, you bought that. That's ours. You paid for that with our.
Okay.
Anything you bought to stuff like that with our money is ours, not yours. I mean, I know you bought the boots and all of the stuff, but you can have.
We give him that.
You can have all that, even the wheelbarrows, because you never had those when we first met you.
I gave him the wheelbarrow too.
Yeah, he can have it all.
He's going to his next job.
Yeah. Now we'll let the people know how it turned out.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll let the fans know.
Yep. All your Hollywood fans. Work it and
Let's
build it, and when if don't help, they'll come here.
No, but see, again, I said this on the previous video.
Yeah.
If you don't help us going up, we don't need your ass later on.
Not at all.
You ass out 2 times.
Yeah.
I can't believe you tried to grab it. You said, hey,
Yeah.
we paid for that. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Paid for it. I mean, it's
I
okay.
gave him the boots.
Yeah. I don't care about the
That
boots.
gift.
Yeah.
Next time you see the boots, the gift in a wheelbarrow,
Mm-hmm.
Bag gave that to you. Compliments of your former
So
fame.
when you use people like this, God, it's sad that it had to go down to this, but he just was too freaking.
Omar, this is my security house. Why would you put this in front of my house? It's not supposed to be here. Take this over there.
Too greedy. Just was too.
Let's get out of here.
He didn't do anything he's supposed to do, and he knew it. Cut corners on everything.
That's why he's out of here now. Get on out of here.
Ricky and Cynthia are there for one reason in this video. It is their primary goal to belittle and embarrass the workers who are here. And they are doing it for one reason only, and that is to make sure they keep their subscribers and their Patreon members, the ones who are giving them this money, keep them as happy as possible. Ricky and Cynthia's supporters, they are with them because they understand them, because they are just like Ricky and Cynthia. Take that for however you want to. Ricky's and Cynthia's supporters are just like them. I've got to question Ricky and Cynthia's ability to choose contractors, right? I mean, how many have they fired? 3? So what does this say about Ricky and Cynthia's ability to choose contractors? Now, you just heard Cynthia say, oh, why don't these guys just own up to their faults? Why don't they just own up to where they went wrong? And then within the next minute, you will hear them say, we have had all these contractors and we have had all these problems with these contractors. We've done nothing wrong. We've done nothing wrong. Okay, it's just the contractor's fault. And now we're going to get a contractor from the diaspora, because you know what? The contractors throughout the whole of Africa, contractors throughout the whole of the continent, we're just not having any good play with them. So we're not going to take any more African contractors. No, we're just going to take contractors from the diaspora. What a bunch of hypocrites, eh? Of course you can replace the money, Ricky. I mean, all you have to do is ask your subscribers for it, which I'm not going to actually put you down for. I mean, at the end of the day, if your supporters are willing to pay for your inability to choose the right contractor for you, then fair enough. It's only money, right? What Ricky and Cynthia are failing to understand is that when you go to Africa and you try to build a house, build any structure for pennies on the dollar, you're going to get a house that has been built with pennies on the dollar. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And that's what's happening. They are literally getting in people who are not going to question the amount of money which Bags is going to, I've got to give it to Solomon here, because Solomon, of course, can hear Cynthia and Ricky talking. He's not oblivious to what they are saying. He speaks pretty good English. So he chose not to react to this type of disgusting behavior which was coming from Ricky and Cynthia. The way they were acting actually were like children. they were like children, which is the reason why I was saying earlier, I can see why their children have not grown up to be pillars of society. That was never going to happen, being raised by other children, people who haven't fully matured, right? So that was always going to happen. That's a shame for those children. I'm hoping that one day they'll be able to live righteous lives that doesn't involve their parents. So you heard Cynthia and Ricky saying that they are going to make sure that everybody knows about Solomon's workmanship. Okay, well, good. I'm glad that they have the platform, they have the ability to trash somebody's life after this person has introduced their own family to you, or because he chose to say no to your changing of the contractual agreements. It's you that wanted to change it. And what? You're going to try and throw him under the bus because you weren't happy? Well, what does that say about Ricky and Cynthia? It tells us that they have no dignity, they have no honor, right? They have no code. They don't have anything like that, all right? These are the types of people who would sell their children up the water if it meant their own survival. We know that Ricky and Cynthia are fabricating their dislike of Solomon's work, okay? How do we know? Because for one, they are not going to change the foundations. They're going to build their building on top of those foundations. If it was really that bad, they wouldn't do anything. They would scrap the whole thing and start again. But that is not going to happen. No, what Ricky and Cynthia are now going to do is they are going to build on top of those very same foundations. If they are that bad, if they are really, really that bad, and if Solomon's work is that bad, then they would not do that. But that's exactly what they're going to do. Another thing is that they never had any complaints about Solomon's work. If you remember, they had no complaints about Solomon's work whilst he was working on the building. Okay, those complaints only came after the contract was finished. Ricky and Cynthia know they can't just fire people willy-nilly. They need to have a very good reason to do so. And so they fabricate things like this. Okay, they fabricate not liking the work or something going wrong and it's not their fault. Okay, that's what they do in order to assign blame to the builder. Ricky and Cynthia are perfect. They are perfect machines that do not make mistakes, apparently. You heard Cynthia call for people to stop giving advance payments to builders. You and your husband are the reason why they ask for advanced payments, because they need to make sure they cover their own liabilities for when things go wrong with you and Ricky. They know that you and Ricky do not have a stable income. They know you don't have the money to build these properties, so they need to make sure that they are covered. They need to make sure that their workers are paid, and the only way they can do that is by getting that advanced payment. If you want a guide on how not to act towards continental Africans when you go to Africa, make sure you watch that video. It's really important. This type of disgusting, belittling, embarrassing behavior won't end well for you, no matter what. It never ends well for anybody, okay? It was absolutely unnecessary. If you act this way, it could put you in harm's way. I know plenty of Africans who would have reacted in a nasty way if they were being spoken to in this type of way. It's kind of reminiscent of Art Cathy, isn't it? The way they were speaking, like they could just belittle somebody right in front of their face, put it on camera, and then post it for everybody to see. So you heard Cynthia also call him greedy. This was actually indicative of the real reason why Bags were unhappy with Solomon, okay? Because they would have been more than happy for Solomon to have carried on with that project if he had have come down with the price. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. So I really worry for this new British contractor who is coming in. I don't see things working out well for them either. We can take a look historically at Ricky and Cynthia's track record with contractors. Whoever they bring in, they are going to struggle with them. So the reality is, we can see right there that we have a finished, completed foundations right there for everybody to see, and they look up to spec, and you know that the next workers that are coming in are not going to do anything with those foundations except build on it. Okay, you can see the state of that security building, right? You can see the state of it, and you know that whatever is going to get built on those foundations, Rick's ain't gonna care. Ricky and Cynthia are not going to care as long as it gets built. They're not going to care about its structural integrity. They're not going to care about whether the roof is going to fly off in a hurricane. They're not going to care about that type of stuff until it happens. So I have a message to my continental brothers and sisters. Please be aware that Ricky and Cynthia are not the personification of what an African American is, okay, or how they act. Ricky and Cynthia are the bad apples of the Gambia. They are bad to the core, and when you watch these types of videos, you hear them feeding off each other. You can see that there is toxic behavior in their blood. Okay, there's no getting it out. They're not going to change ever. Okay, there's no changing them. Okay, so if you are going there, if you are going to work on this project, this is a message to that person who is going over to the Gambia to work on Baggs's project. Please be careful. These people, they are not to be trusted. Do not take their word for anything, right? Make sure you get a substantial down payment before you start working with them, because they are not financially secure. And lastly, make sure you discuss with them about the former contractors. Make sure that they know that you are not to be messed with. You need to tell them this to their face, preferably put it on record. Make sure you video it, even if you have to. Make sure you do that. You need to cover your own back. That is a message for whoever is going to take up the next contract for the Black Acres of the Gambia. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you for watching once again, and thank you for supporting the channel. I want to give an extra special thank you to my Patreon subscribers, and I will see you in the next one. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.
Edina Crawford di 80 pimpim. Conform be on funny team pimudium. I am pass anti cotoko. Boafo akon na say to no. I am Quinumado. I am Kubu Ferio. And I say, one Kunim Ben.